So, what I would like to do now is to talk about our guest, who is pretty spectacular. His photos have resulted in um, hundreds of nominations and over 50 wins in total, and many of those are NAHA. So you're talking about mirrors and Contessas as well. This man is a staple of the NAHAs. You know, you see him at every award season, and so many people have worked with him, and so many people have wanted to work with him. He has such legendary status, he needs no last name. So you may know him. He is the super photographer Babak, and I'm looking for him here. You sound great. We're so glad you're here, Babak.
Good, good. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
So, welcome to the show. And what I thought I would do first, since you're known to all of us as such a great photographer, is when did you first know you wanted to be a photographer?
Gee, when I was a kid, we used to go do a lot of activities. Like when I was like 8 or 9, maybe younger actually, 8, 7. My dad used to take us hiking in the mountains, motocross riding, all sorts of stuff, activities. And he always had a camera to record the events, just for, because this was pretty weird stuff to do back in the 70s. Like not everybody did this kind of stuff.
Right.
And then, so to me, photography was just like a normal thing growing up, just to capture some images, right? And then when we left, I was born in Iran. When we left Iran, when we came out, I lost all the pictures. I lost probably 90% of my pictures. And I used to travel and I used to take pictures. Like I used to be the first Instagrammer. I used to kind of Instagram back in the day and just have all the pictures in my room. I lost everything. So then when I got out, I kind of felt like I wanted to go back and reinvent my memories, because I figured photographs are important for memories. I want to go back, reinvent them. So like to create the photographs basically. So I had to go camping, and I remember going camping and taking a tripod and camera equipment, and I was like get mad at my friends if they didn't take a good picture, And now looking back on it, I don't think I necessarily like camping as much as I like to me, camping was a situation where you had a kind of controlled studio and a bunch of models, friends who were camping with you, and you kind of shot them. And that's what I try to do. When I look back on those pictures, they all look like a mini, like a commercial picture. So I did photography for kind of almost therapy or trying to keep memory alive. That was my first thing. That's why I do photography, still do.
So how did you get into, how did that parlay from early youth enjoyment and sort of bossing around your friends at a camp trip? How did you get into our world, the hair world?
Basically, when I got to university, I didn't drink or party at all. So I was bored. So I ended up working, volunteer for school paper. So I was taking pictures for the school paper. And in 1984, I had the best hair ever. I only had best hair for like 2 years. I looked like the Duran. I had good hair, but it was the worst haircut. So I go down the street to this guy named Michael Wolpe, and he says to me, "Your hair is this and that," and he cut my hair and he took it out, and I walked out and I looked like the guys from Duran Duran. It was 1984. I said to myself, "Oh my God, this is the best hair ever." I never liked my hair growing up. I always wore a hat. I hated hair. For about 3-4 years, this guy cut my hair, and I looked amazing haircut, amazing. And then he saw me one day and says, I made a comment about a picture. He goes, "Are you a photographer?" I go, "Yeah, I take pictures." He goes, "Do my next photo shoot." I never shot a model before. I shot professors at university, and I shot, camping and stuff. So I went in and took some pictures for him. Out of those 3 models, they were like just regular clients. One of them, I made a good pictures. The rest of them were, they look like portraits.
Yeah.
He shows me a magazine out of Europe with all bleached out faces. He goes, "Can you do this?" I go, give me a week. So I go back. I found this kind of cute girl in school who had makeup and hat and everything. I took her to my house. I asked her to go to my house, because back in there was no modeling agency. There was no Instagram, no Model Mayhem. You couldn't go online and just get a girl. So I asked her to come to my house. I don't know how she got her to my mom's basement. And I practiced with her on slide film till I got her face bleached out white and hair sticking out. Send her home with a bunch of pictures, and I went to Michael Wolpe. I said, "Let's do it." We did it, and we got that look with a bleached out face. So, and then that stuff did well for him, and I still wasn't interested in doing hair, but he told me to go to the shows, and he said, "Oh, I need you to be on stage, pretend you're taking pictures." And so slowly, I got into his world, and I was still shooting corporate stuff. And slowly, he was winning, and he was a very good hairdresser. One of the things that's important is that you need a good mentor. You need somebody that they know what you're doing in order to learn stuff on your own. It's great to stop. You don't need university. You don't need a lot. You need to have somebody who is good and not just fake good. A lot of people are fake good. They've got a couple of awards and they act good. This guy was brilliant. Like, he'd give me 3-4 looks while his car was getting towed and while he was arguing with another client or something. He could really do hair well, right? So I learned from him the beginnings. Unfortunately, he lost his business because he got into alcohol, and which is a very sad affair there. And a lot of his, I was only exclusively shooting for him. And once he lost his business, all his staff started shooting with me. So at that point, almost half the Canada was shooting with me, and that's what's got me into this. Got kind of forced into the field of hair, and you know, that was in the '90s. And once digital age took over, I was kind of paying more attention to the hair shoots. You know, try to concentrate more on it.
We're so glad that he pushed you, because we're so glad to have you as a wonderful resource and genius for our industry. So we're going to get into the meat of NAHA and shooting, because that's what everybody's excited to hear about, and of course on how to work with you. And so I'll break it into like 1 or 2 sections, but I think the first is like, how important is the consultation? And can you talk to us about what happens at the beginning before we're actually shooting anything? What does that look like, Babak?
Oh, I mean, the photographer basically is in the hair business, the photographer is a translator. I got to get what's in your mind onto print, digital version, whatever. So it's very important to know what the client's all about, what they want, what motivates them, what's their goal. You know, do they want to be a stage performer? Do they just want to, you know, relax? It's very important for me to talk to the person, see what they're good at, where they're coming from, and I gear my way towards them. This is what I do. So yeah, it's very important to know the person. The more you work with somebody, the better you get to know them, the better it is for you, you know. So yeah, the original people say, I want to win a NAHA. My first thing is why? Why do you want it? What's in it for you? Like, why do you want it? Have you done this before? What are you good at? Are you good at wigs? Are you good at avant-garde? Do you want to promote your business? So it's very important to know so that's the first thing, to get to know the client. And then I ask them to show me pictures that they've done or pictures that they like, so I can see where they're going for, what's in their mind. So basically I'm translating their visual idea, their hair idea, into something that everybody else can see. That's what hair photography is all about. That other types of photography is different. The photographer has to bring the vision forward. This I have to use, because if I do whatever I want and you're just doing the hair, then you're just a session stylist. You're not a hair photographer anymore. You know what I mean? So that's the part that's very important in finding a photographer.
Is there anything else that happens before the day of the shoot? I'm sure there's a million things.
Tons of stuff. So that's the original thing. Then after that, you know, then they give me I usually ask them to give me an idea. Now, every hairdresser is different. Some hairdressers are visuals, but most of them are not visual, oddly enough. They like to play with their hands. Like, so it's very difficult for them to, this is what I've noticed. The people that hire me are not visually, visually. They're more touchy. They like to touch it's all about the feeling of the photo shoot. It's very interesting. Yeah. So if they're not visual, I try to push them as much as I can for them to see some sketches, some clothing, and then idea of clothing. Do we have a clothing stylist? If not, some photo shoots you require clothing, some you don't. It's better without. So I have to figure all those out. Styling is very important. Makeup is less important because you can change it on the day of the shoot. You can, it's much easier to improvise that. Clothing is much harder to improvise, and also haircuts are much harder. Like if you do a wrong hair color, you can't really change it. So makeup to me is very important. It's not that it's not important, but it's more, it got more flexibility with makeup. If you have a great makeup artist, they can change things at last minute much easier, right? Than clothing or hair color or all the stuff. So we try to, and I start with the engineer from the hair. how the hair is going to look like. Then we go to clothing, then we go to the background, and then that's why I add the backgrounds afterwards, because that's the thing that I can have the most flexibility with. So I don't want to be stuck saying, we're going to shoot in a swimming pool and you do the rest of it in a swimming pool. I think that is a hard way of doing it. A big mistake for hair photography. It's great for Hollywood. You know, we need the villain to come out of the water, do the hair, because that's the story. But in our case, we're making the story. So what's your hair like? Then I'll decide whether I put the model in the pool or on the mountain or in the studio. So that's all the discussions you want to do, saves you tons of time and makes your success rate much higher, right? Those are very important things.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a lot to think about before the shoot. And I think a lot of people probably are only thinking, here are my storyboards, and then they're just going to bring them to a photographer. But I think what you're saying is it's more you start the collaboration from day one, from first contact, yes?
Yes, I would like that. With some people, I'm open. Once they hire me, my fee includes all of that. My fee includes everything. I'm not very generally. So some people don't like that. Some people want to do their own stuff. They say, no, we take care of it, just show up. It's the same thing. It depends on, each hairdresser is different. I have some hairdressers that oh my God, before the shoot, they call me every night for 3 hours, right?
That would be me, by the way. That would be.
I mean, I'm okay with it. You know, I love people. I like people, right? It gets to the point that I know about everything, about their lives, their relationships. I'm like, you know, it's you know, once the shoot's over, I feel like I broke up with the guy. What are you? How you doing? Like, you know, I might not even want to shoot with him anymore, but I'm going to be friends with him because I'm such a bond. But I'm like, listen, you're a headache to shoot with, but look, you know what? We're friends, you know.
We're friends. So
but, yeah.
So okay, so we get through that preliminary relationship. I suppose, and I'm sure you're at the level now where you can choose who you want to work with, which is a great gift. So we're on the shoot. Tell us what that looks like a little bit, and I hear you like to be flexible on set. So tell me how that looks.
You know, when I used to have my own studio in Toronto, I used to have my own clothing stylist and my lights, and I used to control the environment a lot better, a lot more. I don't know if I'm better, but my work was getting kind of a little bit same old, but I had more control. When you travel, I'm sure you know yourself, you get to a place that you have no control what the studio is like, what the lights are like, what the clothing stylist, what did they do, because you have no control over that. So I'm extremely open to everything, and I'm big on improvisation, because like you go there and they told you the clothing is going to be amazing, and these are the buzzwords you want to be afraid of. Oh, it's couture. It's she works with a couple of buzzwords like what do you call those? Name drops. I don't care. Those are buzzwords for danger, right? Because that means like the buzzword. So you go there, you got to be, and you can't tell the people, no, she doesn't know what she's talking about. You don't want to. I used to be like meaner, but you got to be like, okay, but you know when you get there, it might not work, right? It might not work. So you got to be open to improvisation. Okay. And again, you got to be open to clients. Some people are not open to suggestions. Some people are. In the past, I used to be a lot more aggressive to putting my, making sure. Before, like say 5-6 years ago, my goal was no matter how who cries, we're going to get the award. Yeah. Okay. And because I said visually, if it doesn't work and they get upset, who cares? We're going to get it. And we did. The problem was if you're a hairdresser who is very not visual, but more feely type of person, then the photo shoots becomes a disaster to you. It's, even if you win an award, right? Yeah. So you always have to read people and balance them, because some people, you can't just, now I realize, some people who just want to go through the, people who comb the hair for hours before the shoot, the more you touch the hair, it's harder to work with. But that's how they're feeling the photo shoot. So if you stop them and you do the hair, they're not going to like it. So it's a psychology of reading people, psychology of seeing what they like and putting it all together with limits. Push them enough, but not push them over the edge. So, and some people take some couple of years to come around. Some people like just tell me what to do, I'll do it. So it's, that's why you have to be, as a hair photographer, you have to be extremely people oriented and flexible in terms of your photography. You can use any kind of light. You can use any of that stuff. And all that all comes with years of training, years of practice. Sometimes I'm on a photo shoot, and I was at the photo shoot in Atlanta, and we were shooting these girls in a kind of a Moulin Rouge environment. Once the flash went off, I realized that the flash is picking all the background, and it looks like a cheap set. So I dropped the flash. I picked up my little camera that you know, like a almost like
Yeah.
it's a Leica. It's a pretty good camera, but it's not a you know, I just got it here for a bounce, and
Yeah.
I just used natural light, whatever light was there, and the pictures were coming out great. We ended up. I remember there was a guy there saying, "Oh my God, your camera is really good. It can work really." It's not that I've done that natural improvised shoots of models in my apartment in New York with no lights, with candlelight, with flashlight, so many times that you know. Then when you're on set, then you know it's easier when you have that. So you need that level to improvise so that you can balance all sorts of clients in the hair industry.
Yeah. So, and by the way, those of you watching, I have lots of questions, but we want your questions as well. So type them in the comment box or type them in the question mark box, and we'll be happy to have, I mean, how often do you have Babak, the man himself, where you can ask him literally anything you've ever wanted to know about a shoot? So you were talking about lighting. What is lighting? I think that's the magic of your work, is the lighting on the hair. It never makes it look frizzy. It never makes it look fake. Like, is there a trick to that? A secret to like good lighting that anyone can understand?
Yeah, I've used different styles of. There's different styles of lighting to tell a story, and I used a lot of them. But every story, every lighting style can be good or bad, right? It's like music. Yeah. You can play a song in every key, and it still sounds good if you play the music right. But if you don't play the music right, it doesn't matter what key you use. It always sounds funny, right? So it's not what kind of lighting you use. It's how you use that lighting to tell your hair story. That's very important. That's what you don't learn from YouTube. The YouTube says, put a light here, one in the back, one in the hair light, go. And you do it, and it's kind of like, because you're just copying the lighting, you're not feeling the lighting. I used to light, my lighting is very simple. It all packs in a suitcase and a couple of rentals. And the reason is, a lot of photo shoots on location salons are small. And I don't want the picture to be about my lighting. And I want the picture to be about the hair. And also, if there's too many boards and this and that, hairdressers run around, they spray, they knock the light over, then you got the perfect hair shot, and the kicker is on her nose, and the next thing you know, you got a shine on her nose. So you don't want to. And also, I want the lighting to be very simple enough that if the hair looks right, my shot is done. I don't want to ever wait for the hairdresser to wait for my light to, you know, move this, take light. So I don't want that, because you know how it is. You know, you got the hair perfect, curls are perfect. It only lasts a second, right? Lose that if you get that moment, man. I'm like a sniper. Ta-ta! You're done. You know, I don't want to go back in there, pull the light up. Hold on, let me do a Polaroid. Let me test. Like, no, just f-stop, f8, 15. It's not gonna work, man. This is not that. Like, you just got to be ready. You know, you move back. I've had shots that the hairdresser couldn't even pull the hand fast enough. We had to airbrush the hand out, right? So we would send the raw to NAHA. There's a hand there. Clients like, get rid of this hand. I go, it's a raw. Leave it there. Let's put it. Have fun with it. Because I don't have time to move back a time. That's it, right?
No.
So my light has to be, you know, even if you're standing in front of a light, it has to pass through you. It has to. It doesn't. I don't. You know, you can go behind the model. You're not going to knock anything over. I have to bulletproof the set for hairdresser.
Yeah.
My shoots are all designed for hairdresser. That's the difference between this and a fashion shoot where the hairdresser can't even go on set without a permission. The hairdresser has to be in another room. That's a different game. We play that game too sometimes, but the NAHA photo shoot, hairdressers are running in and out of the set all the time. You know, one guy's underneath with a fan, one guy's on the side. Sometimes I have to airbrush these people out sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But
and thank you for doing that, because it's very hard to judge when we can see who it is.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you know, so you have to be quick with that's the thing with, you know, I mean, as a like a photographer would sit down on set, I go, I can't shoot this model with the hairdresser lying down on the ground, and I got to tell you something, hairdressers are amazing posers, right? On
Yeah.
stage, when you guys spraying stuff, you know, the spray, that's,
Yeah.
you know, it's all spray. When they're fanning on the ground, as soon as we say, they got the pose happening and like fanning whatever, they look better than the models half the time. And, you know, like any other photographer, we see like the girl's got a green purple hair and the girl's like this with a, you know, and the model, the hairdresser's, you know, short, you know, legs are sticking out, spraying, and I go, it's taking over. Everybody's taking over the set, you know. But,
I'm sure
yeah,
you have so many
behind the
stories
scenes.
about the artists, and we have, hey, Sam Diaz watching us.
Hey, Sam.
Sam, call me. I need to talk to you. Also, you're getting some love from Adam Miristry. He's saying, Babak, hey, brother from California.
Hey, my nephew was online. My nephew was just watching, you know, Keon is like.
So what I want to ask you now is, obviously, we can't sit here and pretend that everything's normal, it's status quo right now. Everybody can jump on a shoot, and everybody can have 50 people.
There's nothing is a problem here, people.
There's nothing to see here, right? So
we got all kind of masks, you know.
I'll text you one, Sam. So what I want to ask you is, what does the future of shooting look like to you? I know when we chatted yesterday,
yeah,
we nicknamed it remote control. What do you see as the future of the world we live in, at least the immediate future, for ways that you'll be able to collaborate?
Well, I mean, everything we say right now is a prediction because it's like a new phenomena. And, you know, I mean, you just go. So this is my perception. I'm no expert, but, you know, I just think what I do, a lot of, like I was saying, a lot of the stuff I do on set is telling people what not to do and do. You know, when model comes in, you know, so all of that for me can be done online, right? I can tell people, do this, that doesn't look good, this. And the amount of, I don't actually take a lot of pictures on set. Most of the times I take models pictures like 10, 12, 20, you know, and sometimes 30, 40, if just to make the model look good, because I know when the hair is good, right? So here's like a quick thing about the set. Like usually I take 10 pictures, show the client the pictures on a computer, and if I need to do something, I want, for example, the client to have the model to have bigger hair, on a computer I quickly, very roughly sketch what they should do. They take the model back and they make it like that, come back, we do another picture, looks much better. I'll do that one more time. I look at the clothes. If the clothes needs to be changed, we do modifications to it. Usually the third time we got the shot, right? Then if I feel the shot's good, but it's boring, I tell the client, you got the shot, now go fuck with it. Sorry. So they go in and they turn the wig around because they feel they got the shot. Then they get creative. They get improvised. Then we might get that, not the secondary shot that's actually cooler, right?
Yeah.
So I don't actually take more than 30, 40 shots on set, right? So most of my stuff is consultation, and I feel that we could do that. We set up a remote camera, and we could figure out the stuff. We get the images back, and we retouch them, and we got them. I'm actually done a shoot with a very good friend of mine that I use all. We have a very strange relationship. We've known each other for 5 years. We hang out, we walk, we have pizza, we shoot. I shoot her and she goes home.
Okay.
And very good friend of mine, my best friend, Anna, if you're watching. So actually, she really likes my photography, and she's been like missed it. So I shot her up with Zoom. I took a Zoom and I told her to go in her closet, hang on. I did 3 pictures of her on Zoom, which one of them is on my Instagram for fun. So I was directing her where to put the camera, where to stand, what to do, take this off, and arguing with her on Zoom too. Change your outfit. I don't like that. I like it. I don't like it. So you could do that remotely and get some stuff for NAHAs. I mean, I feel that travel is going to be a big deal in the future with prices, ticket prices, and also a lot of the hairdressers might be financially, I don't know where we're going with this shutdown, who's going to open up and how many people. So it's a very uncertain future. I think we still can be creative, and I think the online thing is possible. And I think when G5 comes along, right?
Yeah.
I think G5 is going to be a big changing moment because that's going to be much, much more resolution. I mean, you might be able to just take your photos with your phone online because the bandwidth that comes with, right? I know people don't like G5 and they think it's part of the virus and all that. I don't know, conspiracy, yes or no, but if it's going to be faster than what currently we have on cell phones, that's going to make it really easy to do stuff remotely, you know.
Yeah.
Because when I look at hair shoots, you know, you're touching the model's makeup, you're touching the scissors, you're touching you just, like, it's going to be a lot of hurdles to constantly clean your hand, then touch somebody's face, then go back. And,
Yeah.
you know, you want, I mean, even in January, I was thinking of getting a second monitor so people won't be so close to me because I was a germaphobe before all this.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah, I can understand that. So I love the idea of all that prep work and all that happening remotely, right? With changing
yeah,
the image a little and saying, try this. So you're great, and you're certainly not overpriced. You're fairly priced, I think, because you've
I
given me a quote before. I think you were very fair for the extreme talent you have. But for those watching, maybe there's no budget this year. Do you
yeah.
have any tips and tricks for those who can't afford a Babak?
The most important thing is, like, I mean, you can always do stuff on your own. Just
Yeah.
you take your own pictures and practice. But you know what? The best thing to do is to have a mentor, somebody that you like their work, right? It can be a photographer, it could be a hairdresser. You need a mentor. Otherwise, you're going to take a long time to learn stuff on your own, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, I learned all photography on my own. Took a long, like, you need a lot of energy. And
Yes.
the part that got me ahead in hair was that Michael Wolpe. He was one of the best hairdressers that I've ever worked with in terms of, he was just natural. He was just making hair out of the blue, and he showed you the shit. Like, you need somebody, hook yourself up with somebody who is good,
Yeah.
that you like them. Don't just go hang out with them because don't be a fanboy or whatever, but you know, you like their ideas and you like hanging out with them and help them out. And hopefully maybe the hairdresser, you work on a set with them, you help them. When you help them, don't irritate them. Keep your rank down. Don't try to tell what people to do. It's very, you know, when they let you in the group, you're in low rank, stay low rank and learn. So I think learning is better and then you can do your own shoots, because then you can stop, you know, each person. I've had people who shot maybe the first time they won a NAHA, you know, they listened and they already absorbed and they moved on. And I've had people who shoot all the time and they never listen. They still want to do their own way, and they don't get
They
there.
don't win.
They don't
Yeah,
win.
we had Chelsea on our first live series, and she that was the deal with her. I think she won her first time out. Beautiful work. So
Yeah.
I think there was a passion to what she was doing and a level
Yeah.
of detail that made that happen.
Yeah, I mean, like, the word passion is very generic, but I think like, technically speaking, I want to make it into a science where anybody can win an AHA. I mean, that's how you should really look at it, because otherwise, you know, you start getting in this, you know, some guy's lucky, some guy's all fake, some guy knows somebody, you know, like, it should be a generic formula that visually you're gonna win an AHA. It's just like, you know, some songs, you know, I'm gonna use Bon Jovi. I'm not a big fan or anything, but just, he always makes songs that there's always a hit for, make a hit song. There's also a formula for making a great picture and a great NAHA picture. There's a formula. You know it. When you see a great picture, you go, oh,
Yeah,
you know?
we knew
That,
it.
oh.
So what's
You
the
need,
formula? You
well,
can't tease us like that. Come on. Come on,
let
Babak.
me find a formula here. But,
You opened it up. I'm sorry.
yeah, but you know, it's like, it's basically little nuances with photos that tell a story, little body movements, right? Little things. It's like, I call it photo persuasion. Like, you take a picture, you're trying to persuade somebody, you know, this way or that way. One thing with photos that I always say, they always say some photos lie, and most of them are untruths, right?
Yeah.
So some are lies. You know, the girl has no hair. You put a wig on and you fix it. It's a kind of lie. Some are the ones that are untruths. That means you catch the moment and you pick the moment that you want your story to be told. So those little things are very difficult to do yourself with a picture, that with a photographer with a good camera might not be able to catch those, right?
Yeah.
Those little things are subconscious, right? The way the model poses, like even a slight body movement could go from like subconsciously making you like something or not like something.
Wow.
And to me, those things are that comes in propaganda, advertising. You're used to it. You know what to like and not to like, and that's what you got to bring to a good hair shoot. That's the first time I ever said that. And those things are really hard to teach or put your finger on, but you just know it. You just know it. I saw a picture, like, I mean, there was a picture I saw, I don't know whose it was, of somebody going up on a private airplane. You know, I don't know who he was. And the way it looked like the guy was an arrogant guy. But
yeah,
you could shoot the same guy, same plane, same angle, that it looks like he's a winner, right? So the way people pose in a picture has a subconscious message. So you got to really figure that out for a winning shot, you know. So if you're, you know, if your flow is good, if your messaging is subconsciously good, people are going to like it. They don't even know why. And that's what most advertising and persuasion and propaganda, this is basically, they're all these words, whether we like them or not. That's what photography is. Like,
we should do like a one-on-one on the body, a 101 on body positioning. It sounds like
it's a very, like, I mean, like, here's a quick tip, right? Like, you know, I shoot a lot of models sideways, right? So there's only one sideways angle that makes the model super skinny so that the hair looks big. If she's a little bit this angle, the shoulders double the size, right? Double the shoulder size, half the hair size, right? Right? So people airbrush the hair big and they pose the model, and then they have to make it. You don't need to make the hair big. If you make the body smaller by just posing her so that there's no one breast, one shoulder blade, you got half the body. And people see my pictures, they do that, but they miss that little point. The girl looks a little bit wider, a little bit sideways. It just, the energy comes out of it. So those little things, sometimes, some of them I figured out myself after looking at it. I go, why is mine better than this guy's? Is this because I got confirmation bias? I like myself? Or then I looked at it and go, no, because this show, oh my God. Then I, you know, sometimes even you don't know as an artist why. It's when you shoot, you got to do your best for every client, you know, you got to make sure you like that person, right?
Sorry, we have a question, and it's from Troy Flastino. Tell me about your training program. Do you have a training program, Babak?
I've done a few workshops with Daniel Holzberger out of Atlanta. I like working with the guy. Me and Daniel worked for almost 15 years. I feel comfortable with him. The great team out of Atlanta, Van Michael.
Okay.
I've done a lot of work with him. Yeah, it's like Daniel. I really, we work well together. I respect him, his team, and you know. So we've done a few workshops with him, and it's been very, very great. But we've been both busy, and he's been busy, and we haven't done one. But I'm going to push him for another one. I've done workshops with other people too, but I'm very careful with. I used to do it with everybody. I'm not pretty, but a few people were, you know, they just want to know how, and I don't want it to be a kind of a workshop that you go in and you feel good, but you don't get anything, right? The workshops I do with Daniel, we come out, everybody gets a picture, and we show you, and we do our shoot, and you do your shoot, and he helps you with hair, and we've done 2 of those, and we're super successful. And there's a couple of videos of them on my video channel. I love doing the classes, but I do not like producing or you know, setting them up.
It's a whole nother world, right?
I don't like
Antoinette Binders joined us. So great seeing
Antoinette.
you. NAHA, we love you. There's a genius. And Sam was saying it's details in the details. And we couldn't agree more with you, Sam. And that's the little details like turning the body. So,
well, once you get to a NAHA level, you know, everybody's good to get there. You just don't get to NAHA because, you know, you just walked off the street. So those every little detail adds, you know, like even a shadow on the jacket. You know, if you have too many shadows on the leather jacket, those things, you know, do you want all the shadows to equal? Do you want all the models have the same shadowing? Those are little details that, you know, you come up with a team, they sit around, everybody on the team, or you look back, or you do the images, you come back, and you know, you were saying, how much do you retouch, right?
Yeah.
That's another phenomenon. They call it uncanny valley, that where if humans like stuff that are cute, but when
Yeah.
they look too much like a human being, like when a doll looks kind of like a human being, then you're kind of freaked out. So I think with retouching too, you don't want to go so far that it kind of looks uncanny. A lot of the stuff we do with NAHA is a little bit extreme, just to used to be anyway, to be make it like kind of crazier. But a lot of times, you know, you just got to know when to stop. That's important too. You just got to leave some, and that also changes with fashion. In the beginning, when nobody had Photoshop, when you did like a model that looked like a robot, that was really cool. Look, she's got like gray skin and she looks, but then once everybody got your Photoshop and your Instagram filters, having less is better. So it's just you play with your fashion, you know, throughout the years. And
so Babak, final question here. How do you know when you have the perfect photo? When is it done? I mean, I you know, I'm married to an artist. I know many artists. They say they never feel like a painting is done. That's a very common feeling. Is there a similar feeling for you? Or
yeah. I mean, it's on like sometimes when I walk off the set, I know we don't have the shot, right? Because it's just like if the hair color is wrong, you're doing a hair color shoot. Two of the models are exactly, I call it red, and the client says they're not red, they're different, they're red, right? Two are red, one is blue, they're not matching. I can't make a story. I know I got nothing. I know I'm not going to get one, you know. And, you know, what do you tell the guy? Not tell the guy. I do my best to make, in that case, I do my best to make a great collection for him that has, right?
Yeah.
You know, but I know we got no NAHA because it's just, you can't.
Yeah.
And you can't go, you know, people think you can change the hair color. You know, you can, but it looks weird. And
not in Photoshop. We have people detecting that.
You can detect it, and I'm telling you, it looks kind of weird and looks kind of, I mean, you can do anything in Photoshop, but it looks kind of cheap. It just doesn't match, and it just looks, and everything looks good this big. But once you make it a poster, trust me, you can tell it looks like a clown job. Yeah. So you know you got nothing there. But then other times when you got a good collection, you come, you're excited. Usually my first background attempt or give it a feel, usually is the best. I never go back and change it, because when I do that, it never works. The first feeling, and I like to come back I had on the shoot to the backgrounds, and sometimes I already set up the backgrounds on the shoot already in front of the client, so everybody's used to it. And sometimes when you, very few times you look and you wake up the next day, you go, yeah, I don't like this. You know, very few times you do that. But yeah, there's a very important point that you got to say it's done, because you can keep going. You know, once you know, there's one extra hair here, there's, you know, maybe this jacket could be tighter, but usually your first look, everything looks perfect. The more you look at it, the more mistakes you want to find, and you use economy of scale. Use economy for, you need this much mistake. Is it worth to spend another 3 hours? Is it visible? How small? So you kind of use your judgment too. If it's going to be a big poster, then you want to make sure, you know, around the eyes and different stuff. But for a NAHA image, you can't retouch that much anyway. And I liked a little bit of the flaws in it, because one thing, if you make the face too perfect in Photoshop, your hair is going to look messier. Okay. Right.
Okay. That's a good tip.
So you can't touch the hair, fine, but don't touch the face. The hair looks cleaner. So if your face is flawless, one flyaway hair is going to stand out, right? Yeah.
We've gotten like $30,000 in great tips and tricks.
Jesus Christ!
I'm going to say now, Babak, that I want you back. I want you back on the show. This is NAHA Live. This is helping everybody get through it. You've been such a spectacular guest.
You know what? You got me excited. I used to do these lives on my Instagram a while ago, and I quit. I might start doing them. I used to go over my old NAHA pictures and just tell stories about them. Yeah. I might do that. I might start.
Well, while you're mentioning that, Babak, I'll invite you now. We'll choose a date, but we are moving this from Instagram Live to a digital platform where our guests and our artists are able to show some work, to show some examples without it being so fuzzy and cloudy. So Babak, that's going to kick off next week with Tabitha Coffee. I'm sure you know and love her as we all do. Yeah. So everybody, you're now going to go and register for these at probeauty.org/NAHA. We'll give you all the details there, and make sure you tune in to Andy Cohen this weekend on the Bravo Network. They're going to mention NAHA. So Tabitha has said she'll give a shout out to NAHA as a part of the show Watch What Happens. So we're all coming together. Babak, again, I have so much praise for you and all you have done. You are the man.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.